Welcome back, everyone. We continue with our spirit horse animal art journey, and today we are just going to see what details we need to work on. And I'm going to show you a technique that I like to use to just adjust my values and see if we've nailed it. But before we get into that, let's get this flame of hope, peace and love for 2026 going. And there we have it. May all beings benefit. Right. So what I've done, and what I want you to do as well, is I want you to take a photograph of your painting and compare it with your reference material. So I'll bring this up on the screen for us. There we go. So you have a comparison here of my painting next to the reference material, and what I like to do is to just take a photograph and then go into your photo editor and into your chroma or your vibrancy of your color, and just bring that back all the way down to the minus. So in other words, drain all the color out of the image, make it a black and white image, save it like that. And then you can compare the two. Now, I have taken a photo here side by side, so you can see that the grayscale or the value scale of my painting is pretty much on target with the reference material. So not a lot of adjustment is necessary in the horse, particularly. I quite love the contrast that I've got there. And I quite love the shape. Everything there is working out nicely for me. But now let's look at the night sky. It's a little bit darker, just sort of flowing out from the mane here to the left of the scene. So there's a little bit more depth in this zone that we can tweak with a little bit of Prussian blue. The moon is definitely a little bit brighter still. So I'm gonna definitely have to improve that. I might also work a little bit on the glow around the moon. That's also a little bit lighter. Then we also look at the sea. My sea is very crisp. There's a lot of contrast, and the reference material is a little bit more hazy. So we can lighten up some areas in the sea. But the sparkle is quite brilliant. That's beautiful. And then when we've added all the splashes that's going to happen around the back feet of the horse, that should lighten up that area considerably as well. I'm quite impressed with the moon's reflection in the water closer to the front legs of the horse. And then we still need to add in some of the texture on the sand, maybe where the horses run before. And we also need to add a little bit more sparkly diamond kind of sparkles. There's two particular sparkles that I'm excited to get into, and that's around the chest and the front leg of the horse, and then a little bit more sparkles beneath the tail that can be lightened up. So without any further ado, that is exactly what I am going to work on. If my phone will cooperate with me. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to keep this to the side for my own reference. That is sort of our mission for this episode. So let's dispense some color. I'm going to use the Prussian blue to just deepen areas that I still want to deepen. I'm also going to dispense a little bit of burnt sienna that we're going to use with the Prussian blue to create those beach texture. It looks like hoof marks in the sand. I'm going to use buff titanium and white titanium to brighten up anything that I still want to brighten up. Let's get that spaced. There we go. And I'm also going to get my alizarin crimson. Very little, don't need a lot of that. We're also going to need our Naples yellow. So I'll dispense that as well. I'm going to put it there. What else shall we dispense? I think I'm going to use a little bit of my Viridian green. If I can get it open. There we go. Alrighty then, not a lot to brighten up some areas in the ocean. Really, all of this is all about detail. It's not about repainting the entire painting. So we'll see what we need as we go. I'm going to use my filbert brush, if I can identify it. It's all part of the fun, people. Here we go. That famous small filbert of mine, that's a number 6. That should actually be maybe a number 2. It's really small, but it has a nice rounded kind of vibe. Let's play first with this cloud area, or sky area, roughly in this zone. So I'm going to use my Prussian blue. I'm adding just water, making a very translucent kind of wash. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to wash this part of the sky. Let's just deepen that up a little bit. Just to bring in a little bit of contrast. And I'm just going to use a damp thin brush just to blend that out a little bit so that there's no streakiness. Ooh. I have an obsession in this painting with blending. I'm going to use my goat mop. Just want to soften some of that texture. A little bit. Cool. I like that. Just going to look at my reference material, especially the black and white photo here. That's all good. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of this Prussian blue. And just deepen this bum area of the horse. And then this is also a little bit deeper. Just break that up a little bit. Don't want any serious lines there. Here we go. Fantastic. the rest of the walls I'm quite happy with. Okay, let's get into this texture marks that we see here on the beach. So for that, I'm going to use my burnt sienna, and I'm going to add some Prussian blue to that. And because it's contrasting colors, it's going to give me a nice deep color that will harmonize with the sand color because it's the foundation, which is burnt sienna. So the blue is just giving me some depth here. It's not very deep, of course. What did I do yesterday? I found my black paint and I put it right back. Because I've used it so little, I felt it was a little bit late to introduce black, seeing that we didn't really use it. So I'm back to my Payne's grey. This mixture is very translucent, so let's try again. Let's add a bit more burnt sienna, a bit of Prussian blue, and a hint of Payne's grey just to deepen it a little bit more. I need this contrast to give, so when we paint these marks, okay. It's not working for me yet. Add more Payne's grey. I think I'm going to switch to something smaller. I think that is the problem for me as well. Oh my soul. Aircon is running. Let's just put some retarder out. That little puddle is dry already, honestly. A little bit more Payne's grey, a little bit more blue, a little bit more water, and so the journey continues. That now feels a little bit better to me. Let's just talk a little bit about some texture here and there. Right. That feels a little bit too dark over there for me, so I'm going to just lighten that up with a little bit of burnt sienna. That's fine for me, honestly. We're not gonna stress too much. That feels a bit much, so I'm gonna just blend that a little bit. This mark is very big. I'm not happy with it, so while it's wet, I'm just gonna wipe it off. Okay, one last time. I think that is satisfactory for now. You can always glaze over it, so let's let that dry. Okie dokie, let's play a little bit with the ocean. I think I'm going to extend a little bit of turquoise as well. And I don't want to repaint the entire ocean, but I do want to just bring in a little bit of lightness and vibrancy to the water. Right, I'm going to use my turquoise and I'm going to mix in a little bit of my phthalo green. And I'm going to very lightly brighten up some of that water for me. Beautiful. Bit more water. Let's do a little bit of a wash over some of these bright sparkles. Gorgeous. Bring in a bit of that bright turquoise here. We are definitely going to splatter again because there's a lot more splatter here. Gorgeous. I also want to bring in a little bit more green for myself. I love that there. What a difference a glaze can make. It's always exciting. Right, that worked out nicely. So happy with the horse. That's really pretty. I just wanted to round that off nicely again. Add some water here so that we can get a bit of a flow to my stiff paint today. So you can see that it's always all about control. And if you have to paint in an environment where you have an air conditioner running, it feels a little bit better to me. Very gently some contrast there. Very little. No, not up, not down. What are you doing, mister? That was an epic fail. Let's just leave that. As it was. Perfect. Try to bring a bit of contrast here. Not liking it a lot, but anyway. It's a little bit better to me. Right. I'm not going to fiddle anymore with my horse. I think the horse is done. I'm happy with the glaze of the sea. Right, let's play with some of the splatters. And what I've brought today is I've brought some of these earbuds. I think it's just an easier way to break up a little bit of a sparkle and give it a bit of a glow. So let's mix some color there. Okay, that's dirty water. Get some water here. I'm going to use some Naples yellow. I'm going to add the tiniest smidge of alizarin crimson to it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of my buff titanium. Right. Let's see if this works. I'm going to use my earbud. There's a beautiful sort of sparkly moment right here. Oh, it's not showing up at all because I've used too much water, but it's okay. Nothing's happening. Let's get some fun going here. Oh my word. It's not happening yet. Yet is the word. Okay, we have a bit of a sparkle finally. Okay, I'm going to switch to the dry clean side, and I'm just going to diffuse it. Ever so gently. Oh. Again, it's something that you might have to build up in layers. Be patient. Oh, this is harder than I thought it would be, but it's okay. We're learning. Let's give that a chance to dry and then we'll take it from there. Mine looks very yellow and this looks a little bit more orangey, but it's okay. It's okay. We can always glaze over it. That one was a little bit bigger. Not quite what I envisioned for this day, for this session. But we pivot and we deal with it and we make another plan. So I'm just adding a bit of water, picking up some of the color to just give myself a little bit of a diffused halo. That's already helping a bit. Think of them as orbs of light. Okay, that is not right. So it is what it is. Maybe a little bit of my burnt sienna will give me the warmth that I'm looking for. Magical moment in the back. This is pulling way too much attention, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wash it off. Adding a lot of water. I'm just gonna scrub. I need a harder brush.